Today I'll be introducing our new clouds, and also I will be adding some information about the recent changes on CREODIAS and CloudFerro that were introduced during the CREODIAS 2.0 launch last week. So, my name is Martin Kowalski. I am a product manager responsible for cloud in CloudFerro, and I have some long experience in cloud and ES offering. The agenda for today is quite packed because firstly I will be introducing our architecture, the fundamentals of our architecture and building blocks of the cloud. Then I will be briefly talking about the future of CREODIAS and where are we going and what features will be added into this project. Next, I will show you the new billing panel because as it is operational for some time, most of the users were switched to the new billing panel during the deployment of CREODIAS 2.0, and now the new users can directly register into it. Then I will talk about the new clouds and the difference between the old clouds and the new clouds and what is better in the new clouds. Then I will show you how to start a new project and how to get started on the processing of the data using Kubernetes and other things like this. So without further ado, firstly the architecture and firstly about the CloudFerro as a company. So CloudFerro is almost 8 years old. We were founded in 2015 and we are mostly focusing on European space sector. We deliver the solution especially for the European Earth observation sector and climate and science markets. We are currently have installations in 5 European countries and public clouds in 2 of them. The main hub and main installation is in Warsaw in Poland, and there is also the public cloud in Frankfurt, Germany, which I'm introducing today. The company started in 2015. In 2016, we had only 14 employees and almost 1 petabyte of data. And as you may see in the slide, we grew almost exponentially for the last 7 years. And now there is more than 200 people working in CloudFerro, and the public EODATA is closing to 40 petabytes. And we expect it to grow steady in the upcoming 5 years and more to reach almost 90 petabytes in those 5 years, and to scale to be able to provide tens of petabytes of data to users daily. So this is our goal for the long future. General architecture of our clouds. So currently there are 4 clouds available to the customers. This is CF2 located in Warsaw, WAW3-1 and WAW3-2 located in our second data center in Warsaw, and FRA1-2 located in Frankfurt. All those clouds are interconnected together with high 100 gigabit links and are connected with geographically distributed key clock that has information about users. Also, there is a geographically distributed keystone that operates the clouds themselves and provides the information about the projects for the clouds. There is a central billing and client panel named Dolores that is available for all the clients. And this is the first point of when you are trying to register and you're registering and starting the services. This is the panel that you are seeing, and this is the central point which connects the payment information, invoices, ticketing system, information about the place where the management panel for cloud is located and other things. So everything should be there, and this should be your starting point of using our infrastructure. The CF2, our oldest cloud, has its dedicated Horizon Cloud Management panel. Other clouds share one panel that has an instance present in each location, but they are in high availability mode, and if in case one of them fails, you can manage the cloud from the other location. So this setup overall provides geographically reduced access to the cloud and access to the user information. And as long as one of the sites is working correctly, you can get access to your data, access to the cloud project. As I said, CF2 is isolated from other clouds. It has its separate keystone, and this can be advantage during some kind of state there is a failure, but it also provides it also means that there is not that much synchronization. So all the projects, if you create a project in CF2, it's only in CF2. If you create a project in other clouds, it's also present in other clouds. So this is the way we are planning to go for the future, that all projects or identity or user information be shared between all clouds, and you can have the seamless and smooth experience. For Keycloak, we introduced this year the two-factor authentication for each and every user. So, and the Keycloak then is a tool for customers to log into Keystone. Each cloud has its own API endpoint. So if you want to operate on the project on specific cloud, you can do this by targeting specific endpoint. So if you look at the whole picture is that you have robust, redundant infrastructure located in different countries, in different data centers, and in different clouds. That means that failure in one cloud doesn't propagate to the other, and you can use part of the infrastructure even in case of some emergency. All the clouds have connection to the EODATA data repository, which stores our EOData, and you can access it from each virtual machine. Each virtual machine, if you select during the boot process that you want to have access to EOData network, has a catalog with the mountain EOData. This is done by mounting the S3FS system. So basically, each user has its own private S3 key that is used to access the data. Each cloud offers selection of tools and services, which include Kubernetes as a service, firewall load balancer, and so on and so forth. Because our clouds are based on Openstack, this means that each cloud is based on different, newer version of Openstack. So the services new clouds are in the newer version and offer better functionality than the other. So in short, if you are starting a new project, you should use the newer cloud, as it's offer better services and better functionalities. Where are we going with the CloudFerro clouds in CREODIAS and in CloudFerro clouds in general? So CREODIAS as such was one of the 5 DASs that started 5 years ago. And now CREODIAS is becoming the commercial branch of CDSE. So this would be a place that the commercial services regarding CDSE, the big repository, will be offered from each and every partner of the consortium. So other OTC clouds, Vito services, synergized services will be available there. From the CloudFerro cloud, we plan to expand the transparency and visibility of the services for everyone, so that you may see on public dashboards the status of the services and the changes that were made to our infrastructure and services to better understand what's happening with services. At this moment, we operate with dedicated dashboards for different projects, which not always have all the information that should be presented to the client. We also want to add the services for AI and expand the GPU offering. And if you can, any feedback on what kind of GPU and AI services you would like to use in a upcoming time, then this will be wonderful. Next year, we'll also add another cloud, WAW3-1, and this cloud will be located in the separate data center from CF2 and other clouds, and this cloud will gradually replace CF2. So we want to slowly shut down CF2 in next year or next year and a half. We will also add a fully automated and very easy to use processing service. So each and every client will be able to ask just from the Data Explorer or the processing services and expand the VM offering of the WAW3-2. CREODIAS as a whole is a big change for the EO community because it aims to offer all services in one place with very big focus on processing large amount of data and lots of computing services underneath, so that users aren't that bound to having small processing services, or that users wouldn't have to transfer the data from the repository to computing services and back. And the next step is to encourage collaboration of the users and to processing services, and to add the outcome of processing services for one user to give it to other users, and to be able to just build on top of it this very big number of services together from all the users. CloudFerro is also part of the Open Software, Open Infra Foundation. CloudFerro is the member of Copernicus, Rail, Gaia X, CEF, and Linux Foundation, and we encourage using the open software and open infrastructure on every step of what we do. We are also partners of NVIDIA, so if you are using or want to use NVIDIA GPUs, we are the place that you should start your adventure with NVIDIA GPUs and AI as a service. The new clouds. As of 1 week, the new clouds FRA1-2 and WAW3-2 are available to the users of CREODIAS. They were added, and they expand the computing power behind CREODIAS almost 2 times. So there was, before those clouds, there was only WAW3-2 available in sufficient quantity of computing power, and now we are able to provide the users with much more computing power in WAW3-2 and FRA1-2. The EODATA catalog is, as I said before, connected to and included in the pricing on each and every VM. And so if you start using the cloud, you already have access to the EODATA, and it's included in the prices. And some users we see take very big advantage of it and download many terabytes daily, or even petabyte of data daily to the VMs to reprocess it and do some calculation. In new clouds, in WAW3-1 and FRA1-2, each user has its own private S3 credential to access EODATA. This is a big change from the old cloud. In the old cloud, there was no access, no user key and no secret key were required to access your data. In new clouds, this is done automatically. Each user has its own keys. They are generated in the background, and when you are deploying the virtual machines, you get your own key. There is a special panel that you can generate more keys if you want, for example, have separate keys for different projects. In the future, on top of this functionality, we'll be able to offer different data sets or offer you private data sets to other users and be able to build them and be able to offer for example, private access to some collections. The new Openstack in new cloud is based on the Yoga version. This is the update from previous 4 versions, and there are many features. If you are interested in the new feature list, going deep down the rabbit hole and picking up what are those features pre-release, send us an email or ask the support, and we'll be delighted to provide you how to use and how to expand of those. We also expanded the API performance of the cloud, so now the users can scale up to almost 100 VMs per minute, and on this build to have more flexible infrastructure. There's also a big performance gain on the SSD drives. We updated all the drives to the new NVMe, and this should lower the latency of the drives and increase the IOPS. FRA1-2 is very similar in almost everywhere, very identical to WAW3-1. So there are identical flavors of VMs. There's almost same dynamics in the price list. So the price of the smaller VMs and bigger VMs behaves the same. There is a big difference for EO1 VM flavor family because in those clouds, those are normal VMs. In WAW3-2, those VMs should be considered as used for testing or for very small applications that don't require more CPU power, and this is reflected in the pricing. FRA1-2 has more load balancer flavors compared to WAW3-1, and in FRA1-2 and WAW3-1, there is more detailed billing of the load balancer, so you pay exactly for what you are using. So you can, if you want, you can have very small, very cheap load balancer that costs way less than in the other clouds. The EODATA to FRA1-2 is connected from our main repository in Warsaw in WAW2, so you have access to all the data. WAW3-2 has many changes for the offering of VM and VM types in general. So the first change, as I said, is that EO1 VM type should be used in sandbox or small applications. We don't guarantee the CPU performance there, but they are very cheap. The EO2 VM family has totally moved to the AMD, so it is now known with the name of EO2A, A from AMD. And they offer very big increase in computing power. So depending on the workload, we see an increase from 30 to 150% in computing power compared to the old EO2 VMs on the WAW3-1. The same thing can be said for high memory. High memory VMs now are only available in high AMA VM flavors and not HAM, and they're again based on AMD CPUs and not on Intel ones. And the last change, as I said, is that each user has its own S3 private key for connecting EODATA. There is no general availability for each and every one. The price is available on the link that you can see, or you can also go to our new website and there. And this is the comparison of the pricing of the VMs. So basically per usage pricing is almost the same. And for the longer periods, the price are a little higher, but again, you get much bigger advantage in terms of computing power. We believe that you can, in some scenarios, you can almost double the performance. So this increase in pricing is also means that you can process much more data for the same price, and this is the price for EO2A is lower than for EO2A in the old cloud in WAW3-1. Those clouds have GPU ready images, and GPU offering is now in beta mode. This means if you want to use and pay for the GPUs in those clouds, reach to the support or sales guys, and we'll provide you your GPUs. GPUs are very expensive, and we are still building our supply in those clouds. We expect at the end of the year to add GPU to general offering and to be available to every user in per usage mode. WAW3-2, as it just started, will have some expanding in the coming months. We will add Windows OS flavors. We will add more distribution based that are focused on Earth observation market and have ready-to-use software that helps Earth observation people. We want to scale big with this cloud because we know that most of the CDAS customers will use WAW3-2, and we want to expand the offering to provide easy scaling for everyone and to use this cloud in pay-per-use mode. The Kubernetes has now, I think there are access to the GPUs on our clouds for Kubernetes as a service is now in trial mode, and I expect it in the next month that the GPUs will be available for the Kubernetes as a service out of the box, just by adding the GPU-powered VM flavors to your cluster. So this will help you very easily scale your Kubernetes deployments with GPUs. For some time, we offer custom solution clouds. So basically speaking, this means that in a public cloud, we offer to create some custom flavors or flavors that are not widely used, but some customers require it. And if you are one of those customers, please reach to us, to sales or to support, and we'll provide you with the custom flavors that you need for your specific goal. The custom servers, most of them are either GPU orientated. So we offer the platforms with up to 8 GPUs of A100 cards. They're very powerful cards for the current AI market with up to 80 gigabytes of RAM per card. We offer the more AI-oriented tools that are suited for the Earth observation market, and we offer connection between private clouds and on-premise services that you have on your side and our public clouds. So this creates a fully hybrid solution that you can move very easily part of your workload to the public cloud and benefit on it. The new billing platform for the new cloud. So as you may see, we changed our logging screen and introduced the two-factor authentication and forced the two-factor authentication for all users. And on top of this, we also enforced each user to confirm the email and his identification once more, so we are certain that the security is tight and we know what's going on in the cloud. And just don't be alarmed about it, just the change in the visual representation of the panel. This is the entrance to our new billing and client for the CREODIAS, and then you can have you see your own projects. You can see your projects on the cloud, and you can start more projects in different cloud and set up more projects. If you want to increase the quota in more projects, please reach out to the support. This is not done automatically. You have to request the quota from us to be able to expand, but this is done on the hourly basis and should be very fastly proceed with our company. And as of today, all clients that want to expand or want to test or just want to see how this works, we offer 250 euros worth of credits to test the experience of the cloud and to see how easy it is to do some processing of EODATA on our cloud. So if you want to test the environment, you should go to this client panel and ask the support to give you free credits. There is some procedure, but if you are a legitimate user, you will get those credits in a very fast and easy way. This is our panel for managing the cloud. This is the custom but standard panel for Openstack services. And basically you can see and you can manage all services here. There is no special technical knowledge required to manage the services, but most of the experienced user use the API to do the same. This panel only does API comments. Underneath there is no other functionality here. When you will log in now to this panel, you will see two changes. First is that you in regions you see the new clouds, and secondly, if you start you can change between the project in different cloud. So on the left you can see the regions that you are selecting. On the right you can change between the project between the different regions. In Openstack, it works like this: that the project is one. There is one project for all the clouds, and you basically manage the project permissions on top of this, and you add permission for the project, not the cloud. So keep this in mind when you add users and expand the services. Difference between the old WAW3-1 cloud and the new WAW3-2 cloud. So this is a very simple table. There's almost same table was used when we introduced WAW3-1. WAW3-1 was introduced 1.5 years ago. So from the company perspective, we start to grow and add new clouds very fast. The CF2 was launched more than 5 years ago, and between WAW3-1 and WAW3-2, there is only 1 year, and I'm pretty certain that in the next year we'll also launch a new public cloud. So we are adding clouds more and more frequently. The new cloud is based on Yoga. The old one was based on Usuri version of Openstack. Most of the VMs in the new cloud are based on AMD. In the old cloud, the most flavors were based on Intel CPUs. And this was done because the AMD CPUs are more powerful at the moment and give you better performance per dollar. The load balancers work mostly the same, but in CF2, as I said before, there's very flat structure of load balancer. Firewall service works in the same, and VPN as the service works in the same way. So for firewall, you have this very basic firewall built into the OpenStack. If you want to have a firewall for the layer 7 or for above layer 4, you have to do it with OpenSense, which comes in the ready-to-use image. The horizon and identity is geographically distributed in high availability mode, so we expect less problems with this. The S3 is available in multi-tenancy, the same as in WAW3-1, and it will be the same in the next clouds. And there is also GPU pass-through and VGPU. They will be available in the coming soon. The VGPU is not publicly, as I said, is not publicly available in WAW3-2, but we offer GPU in pass-through modes. And if you're interested in GPU in VGPU mode, when you have only some small chunk of GPU available to you, please reach out to us and we'll try to provide you with services. The local storage VMs are also available in offering, and WAW3-1, as you see here, is mostly full, and WAW3-2 has most capacity left free, and you can start using this cloud and scale up to hundreds of VMs almost instantly. How to start with WAW3-1 or WAW3-2 or any other of our clouds, because it works the same for all of them. So basically, you have to register on newcloudferro.com, or you should ask CREODIAS support and they will help you with the registering. It's a very easy process. You have to register yourself, and then you have to join some company some tenant on the cloud, or you have to create your own. You have to have some credits, other free credits from us. You can request up to 250 free credits for testing, or you have to sign an agreement with us, or you have to go to the e-commerce and order some credits there. And then you have to start an OpenStack project. If you have credits in your wallet on a billing system, you can start a project instantly, and it is set up in less than a minute. So if you are ready to pay, you can start the project and use the cloud in 2.5 minutes, depending on how fast you can pay for the services. As simple as that. In our cloud, you have Kubernetes as a service available. The Kubernetes as a service, Kubernetes as a whole is somehow more complicated to use than VM, but with our services, it's quite simple. The prerequisites are virtually the same as for the VM. So you have to have a project. So you have to register, and you have to join the tenant, and you have to have free credits or pay for the credits in some way. You have to have a SSH keeper added to the cloud, because this is the later based as your only way to authenticate it to the cluster at the start. if you want to start a bigger cluster, you have to have your quota raised by the support. But if you want to only start with few nodes, you can do this on the default quota. And for the Kubernetes, we really encourage you to plan your network setup before you start cluster, because it is very hard to change it afterwards. And if you don't want to process in Kubernetes and set up all this, you can also order from us it as a service and just ask us to process your data for you. So basically, reach out to our sales team and they will help you to do this. How to scale fast on CloudFerro Cloud in CREODIAS. So basically, if you want to scale fast with EODATA, using our clouds is I think the best way on the market, because all the data is there, all the data is available just from the start to the VM. So you can just deploy the environment and it's ready to use. If you want to scale fast and grow fast, you should use the software that is already been developed by someone else and the scripts that are written by someone else. The cost of the development waiting is usually longer than the cost of doing things. You should understand the limits of what infrastructure you're trying to do. So we don't pretend the cloud is limitless. There are always limits for VM, for the Kubernetes pod, for network, for read and write operations for the storage. And if you don't test those limits in the pilot, when you are starting your environment, you will then later, when you go to the production processing, you will have some problems. The next thing is you should, with Kubernetes and with any deployment, you should automate it and run tests regularly to be able to redeploy it or change anything very fast. You should monitor as much as you can, and from this monitoring, you should know your bottlenecks, where you are hitting the performance bottlenecks, and what are those bottlenecks, because they are usually limiting your performance. And doing the fast scaling means that you sooner or later have some failures and everything will break. So having this scenario, how to recover from failure, is one of the more important things. And again, if you want to scale fast, you can order the processing as a service from us and don't do everything yourself. We know how to process all of this data very, very quickly. If you have any questions, please drop me an email, or you need some help with our clouds, please drop me an email and I will be most delighted to help you. And thank you very much for participating today, and have a good time using our services.